Listen carefully. Do not rush past this moment. Do not treat these words as background noise while your mind drifts elsewhere. Pause. Breathe. Be still for a second. Because what you are hearing right now is not accidental, and it is not ordinary. I am speaking to you at a precise moment in your life. Not early, not late. Exactly now. You have wondered why certain doors closed when you prayed for them to stay open. You have questioned why the waiting felt longer than you could endure. You have asked, quietly or loudly, whether your fate was in vain. Hear me clearly, none of it was wasted. There is a timing that governs everything I do, and that timing is not ruled by human clocks, emotions, or impatience. While you were counting days, I was aligning events. While you were asking why, I was preparing how. While you felt still, heaven was moving. This is not the season to drift. This is not the moment to doubt what your spirit has already sensed. Something has already been set in motion, and the reason I am speaking now is because many lose focus right before fulfillment. You are closer than you think. I have watched the weight you carried in silence. I saw the moments when you smiled for others, but felt empty inside. I saw the nights when your thoughts refused to rest, and the mornings when getting up felt like a battle. You questioned your strength, but I never questioned your endurance. There were times you thought nothing was changing, yet I was removing what would have delayed you later. There were delays that felt like rejection, but they were protection. There were closed paths that saved you from outcomes you could not yet see. Do not misinterpret silence as absence. Do not mistake waiting for abandonment. I work deeply before I work publicly. I shape foundations before I reveal results. What is coming next in your life requires stability, clarity, and maturity, not haste. You have learned patience through pressure. You have learned discernment through disappointment. You have learned strength through staying when it would have been easier to walk away. That is not weakness. That is preparation. Pay attention now, because distraction is the enemy's favorite tool at this stage. When progress feels slow, when exhaustion sets in, when comparison whispers that others are ahead, that is when many step off the path, not because they were unworthy, but because they stopped listening. Stay with me. What I have planned will not require you to force doors open. It will not depend on manipulation or shortcuts. It will unfold in a way that leaves no doubt that I was involved. When it happens, even you will pause and realize that it could not have been manufactured by effort alone. This is why focus matters now. This is why your thoughts matter now. This is why guarding your heart matters now. Do not rehearse old failures. Do not replay old conversations. Do not let yesterday define what tomorrow can become. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. I did not carry you through what almost broke you, just to leave you unfinished. I did not sustain you through tears, losses, and confusion to abandon you at the edge of clarity. What you survived was not random. It refined you. Apply this to your life. Stop measuring progress only by what you can see. Growth happens underground before it breaks the surface. Roots deepen in darkness before fruit appears in light. If you only trust visible movement, you will miss what is already growing within you. Choose to stay steady. Choose to stay open. Choose to stay aligned. Right now, I am inviting you to agree with what I am doing rather than fighting the pace. Agreement brings peace. Resistance brings exhaustion. You do not need to understand every step to trust the direction. And remember this, the final stretch often feels heavier than the beginning, not because you are failing, but because the weight of what is coming requires you to shed what no longer belongs. Let go of unnecessary guilt. Let go of fear dressed as caution. Let go of voices that speak urgency without wisdom. If these words resonate with you, If something inside you is nodding quietly, take a moment and type "yes" in the comments as a sign that you are choosing alignment over anxiety today. Stay with this message until the end, because each part builds upon the next. What you apply will strengthen you, not just inspire you. Let these words guide your decisions, your patience, and your focus in the days ahead. Before I continue, know this, my child: I am not finished with you, and what lies ahead will make sense of what lies behind. If these words have brought clarity, encouragement, or peace to your heart, support this channel by liking the video, subscribing, and joining the community so you stay connected to messages that help you grow and stay grounded. And if you feel genuinely strengthened and happy through these words, super thanks is a meaningful way to help this message reach others who need it too. Remain here. Listen closely. Do not assume that because things look quiet, nothing is happening. Silence does not mean stillness, and delay does not mean denial. There are moments when I choose to speak loudly, and there are moments when I choose to work quietly. Most people only trust me when they can hear something obvious or see something immediate. But those who learn to trust me in silence are the ones who witness the deepest transformations. You have been in a season where answers did not arrive the way you expected. You asked clear questions and received no clear response. You prayed with sincerity and heard nothing that sounded like confirmation. This unsettled you, and at times it made you doubt whether you were being heard at all. You were heard. You are still being heard. And what I am doing now requires silence, not because I am far, but because I am close. Think about this carefully and apply it to your life. The most delicate work is never rushed and never noisy. When something precious is being formed, it is protected. When something valuable is being prepared, it is hidden. If I revealed every step, fear would interrupt the process, and impatience would try to control it. You are not in a pause. You are in a transition. Transitions feel uncomfortable because the old no longer fits and the new has not fully appeared. This is where many become restless and try to return to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves them. But returning backwards will never bring forward results. Do not go back to old habits just because the future feels unclear. Do not reconnect with old mindsets just because waiting feels lonely. Do not compromise what you have learned just to feel temporary relief. I have been teaching you discernment. You no longer react the way you once did. You notice patterns faster. You feel resistance toward things you used to tolerate. That is growth, even if it feels inconvenient. What feels like discomfort is actually alignment. You may not see immediate reward for choosing integrity, patience, or restraint, but those choices are shaping the environment where your next blessing can survive. Not every gift can exist in chaos. Not every opportunity can flourish in emotional noise. This is why I have been drawing you inward. There were moments you felt detached from people, conversations, and even places you once enjoyed. You thought something was wrong with you. You thought you were becoming distant or disconnected, but in reality, you were being refined. When clarity increases, tolerance for distraction decreases. You are learning to value peace over approval. You are learning to value truth over comfort. You are learning to value purpose over speed. This is not isolation. This is preparation. Be careful not to fill the quiet with unnecessary noise. When you rush to replace silence with constant input, you miss the subtle guidance that only comes when you are attentive. Stillness sharpens perception. Quiet strengthens intuition. Apply this practically. Slow down your reactions. Not every thought needs a response. Not every opinion deserves your energy. Not every delay requires an explanation. Sometimes the wisest action is restraint. I know you have felt tired, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Decision fatigue, hope fatigue, waiting fatigue. That exhaustion does not mean you are weak. It means you have been carrying more than you were meant to carry alone. Release the pressure to figure everything out. You are allowed to rest without guilt. You are allowed to pause without losing progress. You are allowed to trust without having proof. There is a difference between being inactive and being still. Stillness is intentional. Stillness listens. Stillness observes. Stillness conserves strength for what is ahead. Do not confuse stillness with stagnation. What is forming in you right now will soon require clarity, emotional stability, and confidence. If I rushed you forward without strengthening these areas, what I give could overwhelm you instead of bless you. That is why timing matters. You are not late. You are not early. You are being positioned. If discouragement has been whispering that you should have been further by now, recognize that voice for what it is. Comparison distorts perspective. You are not running someone else's race, and their pace has nothing to do with your destination. Stay attentive. Stay grounded. Stay open. If these words are helping you regain perspective, if you feel your thoughts settling and your heart steadying, write, "I'm staying focused," in the comments as a quiet commitment to yourself. Remain with this message until the end. Each part is meant to guide you step by step, not overwhelm you. What you absorb gradually will last longer than what you rush through emotionally. Hear this clearly, my child. I have not delayed you to frustrate you. I have slowed things down to protect you. And soon, you will look back and understand why silence was necessary before clarity arrived. Stay present. Do not skim these words. What I am revealing now explains why you are still standing when you thought you would collapse. There were moments you believed you were barely surviving. You measured your strength by how tired you felt, by how often you questioned yourself, by how heavy your thoughts became at night. But strength is not always loud, and resilience is not always obvious while it is being built. You assumed strength would feel like confidence. You assumed growth would feel like certainty. You assumed endurance would feel powerful. Instead, it felt like continuing when you had no clear motivation. It felt like choosing not to quit even when quitting seemed logical. It felt like showing up when no one noticed. That is real strength. Many people only see strength when results appear. I see strength in consistency when nothing is applauded. I see strength when you restrain your words instead of defending yourself. I see strength when you forgive without being asked. I see strength when you keep your integrity even when compromise would have been easier. You have become stronger than you realize because you stayed when it was uncomfortable. There were days when you wanted reassurance, but instead you received responsibility. There were times you asked for relief, but instead you were given endurance. That was not punishment. That was preparation. Think about how this applies to your life. The challenges you faced recently required a version of you that did not exist before. If I had removed the pressure too soon, you would have remained unprepared for what is ahead. Pressure reveals capacity. Resistance builds capability. You did not just survive, you adapted. You did not just endure, you matured. You did not just wait, you learned discernment. You now notice red flags faster. You recover from disappointment quicker. You pause before reacting. These are signs of internal strength, even if external circumstances have not fully changed yet. Do not underestimate what you have gained in this season. Emotional stability is a gift. Clarity is a gift. Self-control is a gift. Many people chase opportunities without realizing they lack the inner structure to sustain them. You are being equipped to carry what is coming without losing yourself in the process. There were times when you felt overlooked, when others advanced while you stayed in the same place. You questioned whether your effort mattered, but growth that lasts is not rushed. Depth is built slowly. Wisdom is earned through experience, not speed. I have been strengthening your inner foundation. Apply this practically now. Stop speaking harshly about yourself. Stop calling yourself weak just because you felt tired. Stop labeling this season as failure simply because it did not look impressive. You are measuring with the wrong scale. What you learned about patience will protect you later. What you learned about boundaries will preserve you later. What you learned about discernment will guide you later. You did not lose time. You gained insight. There were also moments you chose silence instead of explanation. You walked away instead of arguing. You accepted being misunderstood instead of forcing clarity. That required strength, even if no one praised it. I saw those moments. I saw when you wanted to explain yourself, but chose peace instead. I saw when you felt the urge to prove your worth, but chose restraint. I saw when you felt unappreciated, but stayed faithful to what you knew was right. That is not passivity. That is self-mastery. Most people react. Few learn to respond. You are learning to respond. And understand this. The strength you gained was not only for you. It will become stability for others. It will become guidance. It will become influence, not through control, but through example. You will help people not by preaching, but by how you carry yourself. You will teach others, not by force, but by consistency. What you lived through will give your words weight when the time comes. This is why discouragement was loud at times. When growth happens internally, it often feels invisible. The enemy thrives when progress cannot be measured easily. But just because you could not see it does not mean it was not happening. You are not the same person you were before this season began. Notice how you handle stress now. Notice how you process disappointment now. Notice how you choose calm over chaos now. That is evidence. If you are willing to acknowledge this growth instead of dismissing it, write, "I see the progress," in the comments as a declaration that you will no longer minimize what you have overcome. Stay with this message until the end. Each part is building clarity layer by layer. What you recognize now will prepare you to receive what is next without fear. Hear this carefully, my child. I did not strengthen you for survival alone. I strengthened you for stewardship. What is ahead will require exactly the endurance, wisdom, and calm you have been developing. Stay with me. Do not let your attention drift now. This part matters more than you realize, because what I am about to reveal explains why things have felt unusually noisy, confusing, or emotionally demanding lately. There is a pattern you must recognize if you want to move forward wisely. Right before clarity arrives, distraction increases. Right before alignment settles in, unnecessary options present themselves. Right before progress becomes visible, old thoughts, old habits, and old voices try to regain your attention. This is not coincidence. Distraction does not always come as chaos. Often, it comes disguised as opportunity. It presents itself as something familiar, comfortable, or emotionally appealing. It whispers, "This will be easier," or "This will help you feel better for now," or "You deserve a break from being so disciplined." Be careful. Not everything that feels relieving is beneficial. Not everything that opens is meant to be entered. You have noticed how your focus has been challenged recently. Small things feel bigger than they should. Minor inconveniences irritate you more than usual. Thoughts you had already resolved try to resurface. This is not because you are regressing. It is because you are approaching something meaningful. The closer you get to fulfillment, the more strategic distraction becomes. Some distractions come through people, conversations that drain you, opinions that confuse you, comparisons that weaken your confidence. Others come through internal dialogue, doubts that question your readiness, fears that exaggerate potential failure, or impatience that urges you to rush what requires steadiness. Apply this to your life right now. Notice what is pulling your attention away from peace. Pay attention to what repeatedly interrupts your clarity. Ask yourself whether it aligns with where you are going or merely distracts you from staying present. You do not need to respond to every message. You do not need to entertain every thought. You do not need to revisit every memory. Focus is not about effort alone. It is about discernment. I have not asked you to isolate yourself completely, but I have asked you to be selective. Where you place your attention determines what grows. What you feed mentally will eventually shape your decisions. This is why guarding your mind is essential now. There will be moments when distraction feels urgent, as though something must be addressed immediately. Urgency is often a tactic to bypass wisdom. Clarity does not rush. Truth does not panic. Direction does not demand impulsive action. Pause before reacting. Observe before deciding. Listen before responding. You have already learned that not every battle is meant to be fought. Some distractions lose power simply by being ignored. Some voices fade when they are not entertained. Do not confuse emotional intensity with importance. You are being trained to recognize what deserves your energy and what does not. This is not about becoming indifferent. It is about becoming intentional. Emotional maturity allows you to stay grounded even when noise surrounds you. There will also be moments when distraction comes through self-doubt. Thoughts that say, what if this doesn't work? Or what if you fail? Or what if you're not enough? These thoughts often appear when growth is imminent because fear tries to interrupt momentum. Remember this. Fear asks questions without offering solutions. Wisdom asks questions that lead to clarity. Learn to tell the difference. You are not required to have everything figured out to move forward. You are required to stay faithful to what you already know. Overthinking will not protect you. Discernment will. This is a season to simplify. Simplify your thoughts. Simplify your commitments. Simplify your expectations. The clearer your inner world becomes, the easier it will be to recognize what truly matters. Complexity is not always depth. Sometimes it is distraction, pretending to be sophistication. You have permission to choose peace over proving a point. You have permission to choose consistency over excitement. You have permission to walk away from what unsettles your spirit. Do not underestimate how powerful calm focus is. It keeps you aligned when others are scattered. It allows you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally. It preserves your strength for what truly matters. If you feel overwhelmed, that is a signal to refocus, not to quit. Stay grounded in what you have learned so far. Stay present in what you can control today. Stay aware of what pulls you away from stability. If this message is helping you identify distractions you need to release, type "I choose focus" in the comments as a conscious decision to protect your attention and energy. Remain with this series until the end. Each part is designed to strengthen your discernment and help you apply wisdom practically, not just feel inspired temporarily. Hear this and hold it close. My child, you are not being tested to see if you will fail. You are being refined so you can carry what is coming without losing clarity. Stay attentive. Stay with me. Do not rush ahead. What you are about to understand will settle questions that have quietly weighed on your heart for a long time. You have asked why things did not happen sooner. You replay moments in your mind and wonder what might have changed if answers had come earlier or doors had opened when you first knocked. You think about opportunities that almost happened and seasons that felt delayed beyond reason. From where you stood, it looked like time was being wasted. From where I stand, nothing was late. Timing is not punishment. Timing is precision. What I release must meet you at the moment you are able to steward it wisely. Too early, and it becomes a burden. Too late, and it loses impact. When I move, it is never random, and it is never careless. You were not ready when you thought you were ready. That does not mean you were incapable. It means there were still layers being shaped within you. Capacity grows quietly. Wisdom matures invisibly. Endurance forms slowly. If I had accelerated the outcome, the cost would have outweighed the reward. Apply this to your life now. Notice how your reactions have changed over time. Notice how your values have clarified. Notice how you no longer chase what once distracted you. These shifts did not happen overnight. They happened because time did its work. You have learned discernment through waiting. You have learned humility through uncertainty. You have learned patience through unanswered prayers. Those lessons were not detours. They were essentials. There were relationships that could not come with you into what is ahead. There were expectations that needed to be released. There were beliefs about yourself that required correction. Timing allowed separation without destruction. It allowed growth without collapse. What feels slow often protects you from regret. You may not see it yet, but the way things are unfolding now will spare you from unnecessary struggle later. Some paths require maturity before access. Some blessings require restraint before expansion. Some doors demand wisdom before they open fully. This is why impatience is dangerous. Impatience assumes you are prepared simply because you desire something. Desire does not equal readiness. Longing does not replace preparation. You have been strengthened to recognize the difference. Think carefully. Had certain things happened earlier, would you have handled them with peace or pressure? Would you have led with wisdom or reacted with fear? Would you have remained grounded or lost yourself in the process? Timing answered those questions before you had to. You are not being held back. You are being positioned. What is unfolding now will align with who you have become, not who you were. You will step into it with clarity instead of confusion, with confidence instead of insecurity, with steadiness instead of urgency. There is a difference between chasing outcomes and receiving them. When you chase, you strain. When you receive, you steward. I want you to steward what is coming, not survive it. This is also why comparisons have increased lately. When timing aligns, you become more aware of others' progress. But comparison distorts perception. You only see fragments of their journey, not the cost, the sacrifices, or the struggles behind the scenes. Your timeline is intentional. Stay present, stay attentive, stay faithful to what is in front of you now. Small, consistent steps build momentum that sudden leaps cannot sustain. If you feel frustrated with waiting, use that energy to refine your habits, strengthen your discipline, deepen your understanding, simplify your focus. Waiting does not mean stagnation unless you choose to stop growing. There is purpose, even here. You are not overlooked. You are not delayed by mistake. You are not forgotten in the process. Everything that needed to mature has been maturing, including you. Receive this truth, my child. When the moment arrives, it will not feel rushed. It will feel right. If you agree with this perspective and choose to trust the process rather than fight it, comment, "I trust the timing," as a declaration that you are releasing impatience and embracing wisdom. Stay with this message until the end of the series. Each part is preparing you not just to receive something new, but to sustain it with peace and clarity in your life. And before we move forward, if these words are helping you realign your mindset and giving you strength for your journey, support this channel by liking the video, subscribing, and joining the community so you continue to receive guidance that adds value to your life. If you feel encouraged and uplifted by these words and want to help others hear them too, Super Thanks is a meaningful way to support and extend this message. Stay with me. Do not let fatigue pull you away now. What I am about to speak addresses the quiet fear you have carried, the fear that too much time has passed, that something slipped away, that what was once promised may no longer be possible. Hear this clearly. What I have spoken over your life has not expired. Promises do not fade because of waiting. They are not weakened by silence, and they are not canceled by hardship. What I establish is not dependent on perfect conditions or uninterrupted momentum. It is sustained by purpose. You have wondered if you missed something. You replay decisions and question whether a different choice would have brought a better outcome. You ask yourself, if hesitation cost you opportunity. These thoughts come when patience has been stretched thin. But understand this: if something could be stolen simply by delay, it was never meant to last. What I prepare endures pressure. What I promise survives resistance. The reason it feels fragile at times is because you are human, not because it is failing. There were moments when hope felt distant. You continued forward, but without the confidence you once had. You did not quit, but you questioned. That did not disqualify you. It revealed your sincerity. Faith that never wrestles is shallow. Faith that endures uncertainty grows roots. Apply this to your life now. Stop treating doubt as proof of failure. Doubt is often a sign that something meaningful is at stake. You questioned because you cared. You waited because you believed. You stayed because something within you knew this journey mattered. That inner knowing was not imagined. The promise is still alive because it was not born from impulse. It was formed with intention. Even when you lost clarity, it remained intact. Even when your energy wavered, it remained secure. What you thought was slipping away was actually being preserved. Sometimes I allowed distance so desire can mature. When something comes too easily, it is often mishandled. When something is waited for, it is valued. The waiting was not meant to torture you. It was meant to deepen your understanding of what you are receiving. You are not starting over. You are continuing forward. There is a difference between delay and denial. Denial closes doors permanently. Delay protects what is inside until the right moment arrives. You are not standing outside a locked door. You are standing before one that is timed, and timing does not respond to pressure. It responds to readiness. You have grown more discerning. You no longer accept everything that looks appealing. You have learned to say no without explaining yourself. You have learned to pause before committing. These changes matter more than you realize, because they shape how you will handle what comes next. You are no longer asking only, "Can I have this?" You are asking, "Can I steward this well?" That shift is evidence of maturity. There were also seasons when you felt you were carrying belief alone. Others did not understand your patience. Some dismissed your hope as unrealistic. That isolation tested your resolve, but it also purified your motivation. You learned to stand without applause. That strength will sustain you. Understand this deeply. What is meant for you cannot be taken by distraction, delay, or doubt. It can only be mishandled if you abandon wisdom. That is why discernment has been emphasized so strongly in this season. Protect your heart, not because something is fragile, but because it is valuable. Do not reopen old wounds to see if they still hurt. Do not revisit past disappointments to measure progress. Do not let fear rewrite what has already been established. You do not need to revive the promise. It has been breathing all along. What you need now is steadiness, a calm heart, a focused mind, a willingness to continue without forcing outcomes. This is not the time to rush. This is not the time to retreat. This is the time to remain aligned. If discouragement has told you that you waited too long, recognize that voice and release it. Discouragement speaks in absolutes without understanding purpose. Wisdom speaks patiently and waits for clarity. I'm not asking you to strain harder. I'm asking you to stay connected. Connection brings renewal. Connection restores perspective. Connection keeps you grounded when emotions fluctuate. If these words are restoring hope and helping you let go of the fear that you missed your moment, write, "I'm still believing" in the comments as a quiet but firm declaration that you will not abandon what was placed in your heart. Stay with this message until the end. Each part is building confidence, not height clarity, not pressure. What you are learning now will help you walk forward with peace instead of anxiety. Hold this truth close, my child. What I promised you is not fragile, and it is not fading. It is waiting for the right moment to meet the person you have become. Remain here. Stay with me. Do not hurry past this truth. What you are learning now will protect you long after excitement fades. There is a quiet pressure you have felt, to move faster, to arrive sooner, to prove that the waiting was worth it. Speed looks impressive to the world, but endurance sustains what speed cannot. Many reach something quickly and lose it just as fast, because they were never taught how to remain steady once they arrived. I am teaching you endurance, because what is ahead is not temporary. Endurance is not about pushing harder every day. It is about continuing with wisdom when motivation fluctuates. It is choosing consistency when emotions change. It is staying aligned when progress feels slow and recognition is absent. You have already practiced endurance without realizing it. You endured unanswered questions. You endured uncertainty without collapsing. You endured moments when quitting would have felt justified. That endurance has reshaped how you think. You no longer rush to escape discomfort. You have learned that growth often requires staying present through it. This will matter deeply in the season ahead. Apply this to your life now. Stop measuring progress only by visible movement. Some of the most important changes happen internally. How you handle stress, how you speak to yourself, how you choose peace instead of reaction. These are the traits that keep blessings intact. Speed can get you there. Endurance keeps you there. You have seen people rush forward and burn out. You have seen others chase momentum and lose clarity. You have seen how impatience creates cycles of excitement followed by disappointment. That pattern is not for you. What I am building through you requires stability. There will be moments ahead when the pace increases naturally. You will move quickly when it is time to move quickly. But right now, steadiness is more valuable than acceleration. Learning how to maintain balance under pressure will allow you to navigate growth without losing yourself. Endurance teaches you how to rest without quitting. It teaches you how to pause without panicking. It teaches you how to trust without demanding proof. You are learning to regulate your inner world. That matters more than external circumstances. A calm heart makes wiser decisions. A grounded mind recognizes opportunity without desperation. There were seasons when you felt tired of being patient. You wondered why others seemed to advance effortlessly while you remained in preparation. What you could not see then was that preparation was shaping your capacity. Capacity determines longevity. You are being prepared for something that must last. This is why I have been encouraging you to simplify. Endurance thrives in clarity. When life becomes overloaded with unnecessary commitments, endurance erodes. Focus preserves strength. Do not carry what is not yours. Do not manage what you were never assigned. Do not absorb stress that does not belong to you. Learning to release excess weight is part of endurance. You have also learned to endure without bitterness. That is rare. Many survive difficulty but become hardened. You remained open. You chose understanding over resentment. You chose growth over blame. That choice preserved your heart. I saw it. Endurance is not passive. It is intentional persistence guided by wisdom. It knows when to move and when to wait. It listens. It adapts. It remains teachable. That teachability will serve you well. There will be moments when progress feels uneventful. Do not mistake calm for stagnation. Calm is often a sign that alignment is settling in. When inner chaos fades, clarity can surface. Let your endurance be quiet, confidence, not loud striving. If you are learning to value steadiness over speed, and if you are choosing to continue without forcing outcomes, type, "I will stay steady," in the comments as a personal commitment to endurance over impatience. Stay with this message until the end. Each part is designed to strengthen your foundation so that what comes next adds to your life instead of overwhelming it. Remember this, my child. Endurance is not about how fast you move, but how well you remain aligned when the journey tests your resolve. Stay here. Do not let familiarity dull your attention. What I am about to speak is not meant to create fear, but awareness, because protection is not about suspicion. It is about wisdom. Your heart has been through much. It has absorbed disappointment, hope, waiting, restraint, and resilience. Through it all, it remained open. That openness is not weakness. It is strength. but strength must be guarded, or it will be drained by what was never meant to carry it. You are in a stage where your heart matters more than ever, not because you are fragile, but because you are becoming influential. What grows inside you will eventually shape decisions, relationships, and direction. If your heart becomes overcrowded with noise, fear, or unresolved pain, clarity will suffer. Guarding your heart does not mean shutting people out. It means choosing what you allow in. It means being intentional with what you carry emotionally. You have noticed lately that certain conversations leave you unsettled. Some interactions drain your energy more than before. Some topics stir unnecessary anxiety. This is not because you are becoming overly sensitive. It is because your awareness has increased. Pay attention to what disturbs your peace. Pay attention to what lingers in your thoughts. Pay attention to what repeatedly pulls you out of alignment. These are signals, not inconveniences. Apply this to your life. You do not owe everyone access to your inner world. You are allowed to keep some things sacred. You are allowed to process privately. You are allowed to take time before sharing your plans, your struggles, or your next steps. Not everyone needs to understand you, to respect you. There is wisdom in silence. Silence gives clarity space to breathe. When everything is spoken too quickly, discernment has no room to operate. You have learned that some things grow better when protected from premature exposure. This is especially important now, when momentum begins to build internally. Outside opinions can interrupt confidence. When direction starts to clarify, external doubt can create unnecessary hesitation. Guarding your heart means filtering voices, not eliminating connection. Choose counsel wisely. Choose environments intentionally. Choose influences carefully. You are not called to absorb every emotion around you. Empathy does not require self-neglect. Compassion does not require self-sacrifice beyond wisdom. Your peace is not selfish. Your clarity is not arrogance. Your boundaries are not rejection. They are stewardship. You have already experienced what happens when your heart carries too much. It leads to confusion, exhaustion, and emotional overload. That is why you are being guided now to simplify emotionally, not just practically. Release resentment you no longer need. Release guilt that no longer applies. Release expectations that were never realistic. These things occupy space meant for clarity. Guarding your heart also means being honest with yourself. Avoiding feelings does not protect you. Acknowledging them does. Process what needs to be processed so it does not resurface later as distraction or fear. You do not need to rush healing. You do not need to dramatize it either. You need to be present with it. There is strength in gentle honesty. As you move forward, you will encounter moments that test your emotional discipline. Old triggers may attempt to resurface. Old patterns may try to reestablish themselves. Awareness allows you to choose differently. You are no longer reacting blindly. You are responding intentionally. That is growth. Guard your heart by choosing what you dwell on. Rehearsing worst-case scenarios does not prepare you, it exhausts you. Replaying old failures does not protect you, it anchors you to what is behind. Direct your attention toward what builds steadiness. You do not need to control outcomes to feel secure. You need clarity, patience, and trust. These qualities flourish in a guarded heart. If you feel prompted to be more intentional with your emotions, your thoughts, and your boundaries, write, "I will guard my heart," in the comments as a personal decision to protect what is growing within you. Stay with this message until the end. Each part is equipping you with practical wisdom you can apply daily, not pressure, not hype, but clarity that lasts. Remember this, my child. What you are carrying now is valuable. Guard it well, and it will lead you where you are meant to go. Stay with me. Do not disengage now. What I am about to speak is for the moments when you feel capable but tired, willing but stretched, faithful yet worn from carrying responsibility longer than expected. There is a kind of exhaustion that rest alone does not fix. It is not physical weakness. It is accumulated weight. It comes from holding yourself together through uncertainty, from staying consistent without immediate reward, from being strong longer than you thought you would need to be. I see that weight. Renewal does not mean starting over. Renewal means restoring what has been drained without abandoning what has been built. Many people confuse renewal with escape. They think stepping away completely is the only solution. But renewal is not about withdrawal. It is about recalibration. You do not need to quit to recover. You need to realign. Apply this to your life now. Notice where your energy is leaking unnecessarily. Notice what drains you without adding value. Notice habits that once helped but now exhaust you. Renewal begins with awareness, not action. You are allowed to slow your pace without losing direction. You are allowed to breathe without losing progress. You are allowed to reset your focus without resetting your purpose. Momentum is not lost through rest. It is lost through burnout. There were seasons when you pushed through fatigue because you had no other choice. You did what was necessary to survive. But survival mode is not meant to be permanent. What sustained you in crisis will not sustain you in growth. This is a season of adjustment. You are learning how to carry responsibility with wisdom instead of pressure. You are learning how to stay committed without self-neglect. You are learning how to listen to your limits without interpreting them as failure. That learning is part of your preparation. Renewal often looks simple, not dramatic. It looks like better boundaries. It looks like intentional pauses. It looks like choosing depth over constant activity. It looks like giving your mind time to settle instead of constantly stimulating it. Stillness restores clarity. Clarity restores strength. Strength restores confidence. Do not underestimate how powerful small changes are. You do not need a complete overhaul to feel renewed. You need alignment between your values and your actions. When those drift apart, fatigue increases. Check in with yourself honestly. Are you doing things out of obligation that no longer align with your purpose? Are you carrying expectations that were never assigned to you? Are you saying yes where wisdom would say, wait? Renewal begins when you answer those questions truthfully. You have been faithful, but faithfulness does not require self-exhaustion. Consistency does not demand constant output. Even the strongest structures require maintenance. I am not asking you to give more right now. I am asking you to restore what has been depleted so you can continue with clarity. You may feel tempted to isolate when tired. Withdrawal feels safer when energy is low. But renewal does not require isolation. It requires intentional connection. Choose environments that replenish you. Choose conversations that ground you. Choose moments that quiet your thoughts. You are not weak for needing renewal. You are wise for recognizing it. There is also renewal that comes through perspective. When fatigue builds, vision narrows. Everything feels heavier than it is. Stepping back mentally can restore proportion. Not every challenge is urgent. Not every issue requires immediate resolution. Some things resolve themselves when you stop forcing them. Let go of the pressure to constantly perform. Your value is not measured by productivity alone. Who you are becoming matters more than how busy you appear. Renewal also requires patience with yourself. You are still learning how to navigate this level of growth. Mistakes do not erase progress. Missteps do not cancel direction. They refine understanding. Be gentle without becoming passive. Be disciplined without becoming rigid. Be committed without becoming consumed. If you feel this part speaking directly to your current state, if you sense an invitation to restore balance rather than push harder, type, I choose renewal in the comments as a quiet decision to care for your strength wisely. Stay with this message until the end. Each part is designed to help you live with intention, not pressure, clarity, not confusion. What you practice now will shape how you handle the next season. Remember this, my child, you do not need to burn yourself out to prove your dedication. I am teaching you how to move forward with strength that lasts. Remain here. Stay with me. Do not turn away now. This part speaks to a question you have not always said out loud. The question of visibility, recognition, and why being unseen for so long was necessary. You have wondered why your effort felt unnoticed, why your consistency did not immediately lead to acknowledgement, why others seemed to advance publicly while your work remained hidden. At times, you questioned whether being overlooked meant being undervalued. It did not. There is a difference between being hidden and being forgotten. Hidden seasons protect development. They allow depth to form without pressure. They allow identity to strengthen without distortion. Visibility too early can fracture what is still forming. You were not being ignored. You were being preserved. Recognition without readiness becomes weight. Attention without stability becomes distraction. Exposure without grounding magnifies insecurity. I withheld visibility not to diminish you, but to protect you. Apply this to your life. Ask yourself what kind of recognition you truly want. Do you want applause, or do you want alignment? Do you want attention, or do you want impact? Visibility that comes without clarity often demands performance instead of purpose. You have been learning to stand without affirmation. That lesson matters more than you realize. When validation becomes your fuel, direction becomes fragile. When purpose becomes your anchor, recognition becomes secondary. This is why I allowed you to grow quietly. You have developed discernment that does not depend on praise. You have learned to continue without reassurance. You have strengthened your resolve without external reinforcement. These traits will keep you steady when visibility increases. And it will increase, but it will increase at the right time, in the right way, with the right people. It will not require you to compromise your values or perform a version of yourself that is not true. When recognition comes through alignment, it does not overwhelm, it affirms. You do not need to chase visibility. You do not need to announce yourself. You do not need to prove your worth. When timing aligns, presence speaks for itself. There is also a reason you were not widely seen while learning. Mistakes made in private refine wisdom. Mistakes made in public often create shame. I allowed you to practice, adjust, and grow without unnecessary scrutiny. That was grace. Being seen is not about being known by everyone. It is about being known in the right spaces. It is about influence, not exposure. It is about impact, not noise. You are being prepared for meaningful visibility, not momentary attention. Think about how this applies now. Continue to show up with integrity, even when no one is watching. Continue to do the work well, even when credit is delayed. Continue to honor your values, even when shortcuts seem appealing. Consistency builds credibility. When the time comes, you will not need to explain yourself. Your work will speak. Your character will speak. Your steadiness will speak. There will be those who are surprised by your emergence. They will wonder where you came from. They will not see the years of preparation, the quiet endurance, the unseen discipline. But you will know, and that will be enough. Do not fear being seen. Fear being seen before you are ready. You are learning to hold responsibility with humility, influence with restraint, and opportunity with wisdom. This is why timing matters. If you feel a quiet confidence growing instead of a desperate need to be noticed, that is alignment settling in. Let it grow. Let it mature. Let it guide your decisions. If you are willing to trust that recognition will come at the right time and in the right way, I trust the timing of visibility in the comments as a declaration that you will not rush what is unfolding. Stay with this message until the end. Each part is helping you build a life that lasts, not a moment that fades. What you are learning now will shape how you handle being seen without losing yourself. And before we continue, if these words are giving you clarity, grounding your thoughts, and helping you grow in real ways, support this channel by liking the video, subscribing, and joining the community so you remain connected to messages that add value to your life. If these words have encouraged you, and you feel led to help this message reach others, super thanks is a meaningful way to support and extend this work. Remember this truth, my child. When it is time for you to be seen, you will not need to force it. Alignment will bring you forward naturally. Stay with me. Do not close your heart now. This part speaks to the wounds you rarely mention, the moments you were treated unfairly, misunderstood, or overlooked, and the quiet question you carried, will this ever be made right? I have seen what was taken from you. I have seen what was misrepresented. I have seen where effort was ignored and where intentions were questioned. Justice is not always immediate, but it is never absent. You live in a world that rushes to judge and reacts before understanding. In such a world, it is easy to believe that silence means approval of wrongdoing, or that time erases accountability. But justice that heals is different from justice that harms. What I bring restores balance without destroying your integrity. You were not asked to fight every battle, because not every battle was yours to fight. Some conflicts would have pulled you into cycles of bitterness and distraction. Silence protected your heart when words would have entangled you further. Apply this to your life now. Notice how restraint preserved you. Notice how choosing not to retaliate kept your character intact. Notice how walking away spared you from becoming what hurt you. That was not weakness, that was wisdom. You have wondered whether letting things go meant letting others win. But release is not surrender. Release is trust. It places the outcome in hands that see the full picture, not just the moment. Justice unfolds in layers. Sometimes it comes as correction. Sometimes it comes as redirection. Sometimes it comes as restoration that makes the loss irrelevant. What matters is not how it looks, but what it produces. You are not meant to relive pain to prove it was real. You are meant to be restored beyond it. There were seasons when you gave more than you received, times when your contribution was minimized, moments when your sincerity was questioned. You felt the sting, but you did not allow it to harden you. That choice matters. Justice that comes through bitterness leaves scars. Justice that comes through trust leaves peace. You are learning the difference. There is also justice in timing. Some outcomes cannot be rushed without causing further harm. Exposure too early can escalate conflict. Resolution too soon can bypass healing. I have been addressing what happened in ways you could not see, aligning circumstances so that restoration would not cost you your calm. Apply this practically. Stop revisiting the past to collect evidence. Stop replaying scenarios to rewrite conversations. That mental effort drains you and delays healing. You do not need to rehearse injustice to validate your experience. Your experience is already known. There will be moments when clarity arrives without confrontation. Situations will shift. Perspectives will change. Opportunities will open that make previous losses insignificant. This is how restoration often works. It repositions you so completely that the old pain no longer defines the narrative. You are not being compensated with conflict. You are being compensated with growth, clarity, and peace. Justice does not always look like public vindication. Sometimes it looks like private freedom. Sometimes it looks like doors opening that others cannot access. Sometimes it looks like strength that cannot be shaken. Trust this process. Do not envy those who seem to advance through manipulation or shortcuts. Their gains are unstable. What is built without integrity requires constant defense. What is built with integrity stands without explanation. You have been spared from that burden. There is also restoration happening within you. Confidence that was shaken is being rebuilt. Trust that was damaged is being refined. Discernment that was dulled is being sharpened. This inner restoration matters more than external outcomes. You are becoming whole, not just successful. If resentment has tried to linger, release it intentionally. Resentment ties you to the very moment you need to move beyond. Forgiveness is not denial, it is freedom. It clears space for what is next. Choose freedom. If this part speaks to your journey and you are ready to let justice unfold without carrying the weight of proving anything, write, "I release and trust" in the comments as a declaration that you are choosing restoration over resentment. Stay with this message until the end. Each part is guiding you toward a life marked by clarity, peace, and sustainable growth, not cycles of reaction. Remember this, my child. What was wrong will be addressed, but not at the cost of who you are becoming. Restoration will come in a way that leaves you stronger, not scarred. Stay with me. Do not drift now. This part brings clarity to a question you have felt more than you have spoken. How do I know I am on the right path? Alignment is not always loud. It does not announce itself with constant excitement or dramatic signs. Often, alignment feels like quiet certainty. It feels like stability where there used to be chaos. It feels like peace that remains, even when circumstances are still unfolding. You have been taught to look for alignment in outcomes alone, but alignment begins internally before it ever shows externally. When your thoughts, values, and actions start moving in the same direction, alignment has begun. Pay attention to what has shifted within you. You no longer feel the same pull toward things that once consumed your energy. You no longer chase approval the way you once did. You no longer feel pressured to explain yourself at every turn. That is alignment settling in. Alignment does not mean everything is easy. It means you are no longer fighting yourself. You may still face challenges, but there is less internal resistance. Decisions feel clearer. Boundaries feel necessary rather than cruel. Waiting feels purposeful rather than punishing. Apply this to your life now. Notice how certain choices bring calm, even when they require courage. Notice how some paths feel heavy, even when they look appealing. Your inner response is guiding you more accurately than external noise ever could. When you are aligned, confusion decreases. When you are aligned, urgency fades. When you are aligned, peace becomes consistent. This does not mean you will never question. It means questions no longer paralyze you. They refine you instead of stopping you. You have also noticed that forcing things feels harder now. What once worked through effort alone now requires harmony. When something is not aligned, it resists manipulation. When something is aligned, it unfolds with less strain. This is intentional. You are being trained to move with wisdom rather than willpower. Willpower exhausts you. Wisdom sustains you. There were times you pushed forward simply because you could. Now, you pause because you understand the cost of misalignment. That pause is not hesitation, it is maturity. Alignment also brings discernment in relationships. You feel less inclined to convince others of your direction. You recognize when conversations drain you rather than nourish you. You choose presence over performance. That clarity protects your energy. Do not be concerned if some connections fade as alignment strengthens. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into the next season. This is not rejection. It is refinement. Paths diverge when purposes differ. You are not losing people. You are gaining clarity. Alignment often requires letting go of what once fit but no longer does. Holding on out of familiarity will create tension. Releasing with understanding restores flow. Trust what feels settled, not just what feels exciting. There will be moments when alignment feels quiet and uneventful. Do not confuse peace with stagnation. Peace allows growth to happen without constant stress. It creates space for thoughtful action rather than impulsive reaction. This is where sustainable progress is born. You are also learning to listen inwardly without becoming self-centered. Alignment does not isolate you, it centers you. It helps you engage with others from wholeness rather than need. From this place, you contribute without depletion. You serve without resentment. You lead without force. That is alignment in action. If you are unsure whether you are aligned, ask yourself this: does this choice bring clarity or confusion? Does it bring steadiness or anxiety? Does it require compromise of your values or affirmation of them? The answers will guide you. You do not need constant signs. You need consistency of peace. If you sense that your life is becoming simpler, calmer, and more intentional, even if results are still forming, that is alignment taking root. If this message helps you recognize where you are and encourages you to continue walking with clarity rather than pressure, type, "I choose alignment," in the comments as a conscious decision to move forward with wisdom. Stay with this series until the end. Each part is designed to help you apply these truths practically, so your life reflects not just belief, but balance. Hold this close, my child. Alignment does not rush you forward or hold you back. It keeps you exactly where you need to be until the next step is clear. Stay with me. Do not tense your heart at this word. What I am about to speak is not about restriction, fear, or losing your voice. It is about protection, quiet, intentional protection that keeps you from paths that cost more than they give. You have seen obedience portrayed as limitation, as if following guidance means shrinking your life or silencing your desires. That is not what I intend. Obedience is not about control. It is about alignment with what sustains you. True obedience is listening deeply enough to trust what preserves your future, even when alternatives look appealing. You have already practiced this without naming it. You walked away from situations that felt wrong even when they promised comfort. You paused before making decisions that others rushed into. You resisted shortcuts that would have compromised your peace. That was obedience guided by wisdom. Obedience does not remove your freedom. It sharpens it. It teaches you which choices lead to lasting fulfillment and which lead to temporary relief, followed by regret. Apply this to your life now. Think of moments when restraint saved you, when waiting prevented loss, when saying no preserved your energy. Those were not missed opportunities. They were avoided burdens. You are not being asked to surrender your will blindly. You are being invited to trust guidance that sees beyond the moment you are standing in. There is a reason certain things have felt off, even when they looked right. There is a reason some options created unease despite their appeal. That inner resistance was not fear, it was discernment forming. Obedience often feels quiet. It rarely announces itself. It shows up as a gentle redirection rather than a loud command. You are learning to listen to that quiet. There will be times when obedience requires patience, waiting when action feels urgent, holding back when explanation feels necessary, staying silent when defense feels justified. These moments shape your character more than visible success ever could. You do not need to react to prove your strength. You do not need to rush to validate your worth. You do not need to explain every decision to be justified. Obedience builds inner authority. It allows you to move with confidence that does not depend on approval. When you trust guidance, you stop seeking permission from voices that cannot see where you are going. This is why obedience protects you from distraction. It narrows your focus so you are not pulled in 10 directions at once. It keeps your energy centered on what truly matters. There will be moments when obedience feels inconvenient, when it asks you to choose integrity over advantage, when it asks you to delay gratification for long-term gain, when it asks you to remain consistent without immediate reward. Those moments are investments. You are not losing anything by choosing wisely. You are preserving what matters most: your clarity, your peace, your direction. Obedience also protects you from becoming someone you are not meant to be. Without it, ambition can distort values. Pressure can erode compassion. Speed can replace wisdom. Obedience keeps your growth anchored. You have noticed how much calmer life feels when your decisions align with your values. That calm is not accidental. It is confirmation. Do not fear obedience. Fear misalignment. Misalignment drains you, confuses you, and pulls you away from your true path. There will be voices that encourage you to ignore caution and chase what looks impressive. There will be moments when compromise appears harmless, but wisdom asks different questions. Will this strengthen me? Will this sustain me? Will this align with who I am becoming? Let those questions guide you. If something requires you to betray your peace to obtain it, it will eventually demand more than it gives. Obedience helps you recognize that early. If you feel prompted to trust guidance even when you do not fully understand it yet, write, "I choose obedience with wisdom" in the comments as a declaration that you are choosing protection over pressure. Stay with this message until the end. Each part is equipping you to walk forward with clarity, not confusion. Strength, not strain. Remember this, my child. Obedience is not about losing control. It is about being guided away from what would cost you the very peace you work so hard to build. Stay with me. Do not mistake calm for weakness. What I am speaking to now is about courage, not the loud kind that seeks attention, but the quiet kind that changes a life from the inside out. You were taught that courage looks dramatic, that it announces itself, that it takes bold risks without hesitation and moves forward without fear. But the courage I am building in you is different. It is steady. It is thoughtful. It does not rush to prove itself. Quiet courage chooses what is right even when no one applauds. Quiet courage stays consistent when motivation fades. Quiet courage acts without needing recognition. You have already shown this courage even when you did not call it that. You showed it when you kept going despite uncertainty. You showed it when you chose restraint over reaction. You showed it when you stood alone rather than abandoning what you knew was true. That courage did not look impressive to the world, but it reshaped you. Apply this to your life now. Recognize how many times you chose wisdom over impulse. How often you paused instead of reacting. How you walked away from situations that threatened your peace. Those choices required strength, even if they felt ordinary at the time. Courage is not always about doing more. Often, it is about doing less with intention. There will be moments ahead when this quiet courage is required again. Times when you must hold your ground without argument. Times when you must continue without reassurance. Times when you must trust clarity even when others doubt it. This courage will protect your direction. You are learning not to be driven by fear of missing out. You are learning not to be ruled by urgency. You are learning to let clarity lead instead of emotion. That requires courage. It takes courage to say no when something looks good but feels wrong. It takes courage to wait when others rush ahead. It takes courage to trust growth that is invisible. You are not becoming passive. You are becoming deliberate. There will also be moments when courage means speaking clearly, calmly, without aggression. When silence no longer serves truth. When boundaries need to be stated. When direction needs to be affirmed. Quiet courage does not avoid responsibility. It meets it without drama. You may notice that your confidence feels different now. It is less dependent on outcomes, less affected by opinions, less shaken by delay. That is courage taking root. This kind of courage does not demand certainty. It moves forward with trust. It does not require fear to disappear. It acts wisely in spite of it. Fear may still appear. Doubt may still whisper. But they no longer control your direction. You are learning how to carry courage gently without becoming hardened or defensive. That balance matters. Courage without compassion becomes force. Compassion without courage becomes avoidance. You are learning to hold both. There will be times when choosing peace requires courage. Walking away from conflict requires courage. Letting go of control requires courage. Trusting the process requires courage. Do not underestimate how brave you have already been. When you felt tired and still continued. When you felt misunderstood and remained steady. When you felt unsure and chose integrity. Those moments mattered. If you feel yourself becoming calmer, more grounded, and less reactive, that is not loss of passion. That is courage maturing. Let it mature. You do not need to convince everyone. You do not need to defend every decision. You do not need to respond to every challenge. Quiet courage knows when to move and when to remain still. If you sense that you are being strengthened internally rather than pushed externally, and you are willing to continue choosing courage even when it is unseen, type, "I will walk with quiet courage" in the comments as a commitment to stay steady and aligned. Stay with this message until the end. Each part is preparing you not just to reach something, but to carry it well once you do. Hold this truth close, my child. You are not being trained to impress the world. You are being trained to stand firm within it. Stay with me. Do not hurry past this moment. What I am about to speak will help you make decisions that protect your peace and preserve your future. Discernment is not suspicion, and it is not fear. It is clarity born from attentiveness. It is the ability to recognize what belongs in your life now and what no longer serves where you are going. Many confuse discernment with judgment, but discernment is gentle. It listens, it observes, it waits before it acts. You are being trained in discernment because your life is becoming more defined. When life was uncertain, almost anything felt acceptable. When direction was unclear, many options looked the same. But now that clarity is forming, contrast is sharper. What aligns feels calm. What does not align feels heavy. Pay attention to that difference. You no longer need to force yourself to like what drains you. You no longer need to justify staying where growth has stopped. You no longer need to keep carrying what you are meant to outgrow. Discernment helps you recognize seasons. Some things were right for who you were, not for who you are becoming. Holding on out of loyalty to the past will only create tension in the present. Apply this to your life now. Ask yourself what consistently brings peace and what consistently brings unrest. Notice patterns, not isolated moments. Discernment grows through observation over time, not reaction in the moment. You have already begun releasing without announcing it. Certain conversations no longer interest you. Certain habits no longer satisfy you. Certain paths no longer excite you. This is not loss. It is refinement. You are not becoming smaller. You are becoming more focused. Discernment also teaches you when to accept help and when to decline it. Not all assistance is aligned. Some help creates dependency. Some advice carries projection. Some opportunities come with hidden costs. Wisdom does not reject everything. It evaluates. You are learning to ask better questions. You are learning to listen beneath words. You are learning to trust what feels settled rather than rushed. That is discernment maturing. There will be moments when letting go feels uncomfortable, especially when what you release is familiar. Familiarity can feel like safety even when it limits growth. Discernment gives you courage to choose what is right over what is comfortable. Do not be afraid to change your mind when clarity increases. Growth often requires revision. Adjusting direction is not failure, it is wisdom, responding to new understanding. You are allowed to evolve. There will also be moments when discernment asks you to accept something you would rather avoid. Responsibility, accountability, patience. These are not burdens, they are tools that strengthen you. Discernment is not about choosing only what feels easy. It is about choosing what produces lasting good. You have noticed that impulse decisions feel heavier now. What once felt exciting now feels draining when rushed. That is not hesitation. It is discernment protecting you from unnecessary strain. Honor it. Discernment will save you time. It will save you energy. It will save you regret. It helps you recognize when to speak and when silence preserves peace. When to act and when waiting produces better results. When to invest and when to walk away. You are not meant to carry everything. Some things are released so better things can be received. If you try to hold on to everything, you will not have space for what is next. This is a season of intentional choice. Each decision shapes your environment, your mindset, and your future. Discernment ensures those choices are aligned. If you feel prompted to be more selective, more attentive, and more intentional with what you allow into your life, type "I choose discernment" in the comments as a declaration that you will move forward with wisdom rather than impulse. Stay with this message until the end. Each part is equipping you to live with clarity that sustains you, not pressure that drains you. And before we continue, if these words are helping you make wiser decisions and giving you clarity you can apply in your daily life, support this channel by liking the video, subscribing, and joining the community so you stay connected to messages that strengthen and guide you. If you feel encouraged and want to help this message reach others who need it, super thanks is a meaningful way to support and extend this work. Remember this, my child, discernment is not about rejecting life. It is about choosing it wisely. Stay with me. Do not relax your attention now. What you are experiencing is subtle, but it is important because the final stretch of any journey tests presence more than strength. You have come far, farther than you realize. And this is often where focus begins to fade, not because people are weak, but because they assume the hardest part is over. They begin to look ahead instead of staying grounded where they are. They rush mentally toward outcomes and lose awareness of the moment that actually shapes them. Presence matters now more than ever. You are not required to do more. You are required to stay aware. You are required to remain grounded. The final stretch is not about effort alone. It is about attentiveness. Many stumble here not because they lacked discipline, but because they stopped listening. They allowed familiarity to dull perception. They assumed momentum would carry them automatically. Momentum still requires intention. You may feel a mix of anticipation and fatigue, excitement about what is coming, paired with tiredness from how long you have waited. That combination can make you restless. Restlessness pulls attention forward too quickly and away from what still needs to be tended. Apply this to your life now. Notice when your mind escapes into what's next, instead of honoring what's now. Progress happens in the present, not in imagined futures. When you stay present, you move with clarity. When you rush mentally, mistakes increase. Stay here. The final stretch refines discipline. It asks you to remain consistent even when novelty has worn off. It asks you to stay faithful even when validation feels closer, but not yet visible. It asks you to maintain character when reward feels imminent. This is where many lose what they almost had, not because it was taken from them, but because they stopped stewarding it carefully. Presence keeps you grounded in wisdom. It helps you recognize subtle adjustments that need to be made. It allows you to respond instead of react. It prevents you from overcorrecting or forcing outcomes. You do not need to accelerate. You do not need to announce arrival. You need to remain attentive. There will be small decisions ahead that carry weight beyond their size. How you respond to pressure, how you manage impatience, how you treat others when you feel close to breakthrough. These moments matter. Your consistency now confirms your readiness. You are learning to hold anticipation without anxiety, hope without pressure, expectation without entitlement. This balance prepares you to receive what is coming without losing humility. There will be temptations to relax discipline just a little, to loosen boundaries just this once, to compromise focus because you feel you have already proven yourself. Be mindful. Finishing well matters. Staying present also means staying grateful. Gratitude anchors you. It reminds you how far you have come and why this journey mattered. It keeps your heart open rather than entitled. Do not overlook small confirmations. Do not dismiss quiet peace. Do not ignore subtle alignment. These are signs you are still on course. The final stretch often feels slower, not because progress has stopped, but because awareness has increased. You are more conscious now. You notice details you once ignored. That awareness will protect you. Trust it. If you feel the urge to rush, pause. If you feel distracted, refocus. If you feel tired, renew gently. Presence is not passive. It is active attention. If this part speaks to where you are right now, and you choose to stay grounded rather than rushing ahead emotionally, type, "I will stay present," in the comments as a commitment to walk this final stretch with awareness and wisdom. Stay with this message until the end. Each part is preparing you not just to reach a destination, but to arrive whole, clear, and steady. Remember this, my child. What comes next will meet you exactly where you are, not where you rush to be. Stay with me. Do not let anticipation replace attentiveness. What I am about to speak will reshape how you understand reward, so that when it comes, it will not confuse you, overwhelm you, or pull you off course. Reward is often misunderstood. Many imagine it as compensation for effort alone, as if endurance automatically entitles them to recognition or ease. But true reward is not about flattery. It is about fulfillment. It does not inflate pride. It settles the soul. You have waited long enough to know the difference. You are not being rewarded because you endured pain. You are being rewarded because you remained aligned while enduring it. You did not just survive, you grew. Reward that comes too early can distort purpose. Reward that comes without maturity can weaken character. That is why what is coming now will feel different. It will not need to announce itself loudly. It will feel right, steady, and grounding. Apply this to your life now. Notice how your desires have changed. You no longer crave applause the way you once did. You no longer chase validation as proof of worth. You want peace, stability, and meaning. That shift prepares you to receive fulfillment rather than fleeting satisfaction. Fulfillment lasts. The reward ahead will not require you to perform constantly to maintain it. It will not demand that you abandon your values to keep it. It will not pull you into competition or comparison. It will fit who you have become. This is why patience mattered. You have learned to appreciate depth over display, substance over image, consistency over intensity. These preferences shape the kind of reward that can truly bless you. There were moments you thought reward meant escape from difficulty, but reward often looks like clarity after confusion, peace after turmoil, and direction after wandering. It restores balance rather than creating spectacle. You are being rewarded with sustainability. That sustainability may come through opportunity, stability, restoration, or influence. It may arrive quietly or unfold gradually. Do not miss it because it does not look dramatic. Not everything valuable announces itself. Stay attentive. There will be moments when reward requires responsibility, when what you receive asks something of you. This is not burden, it is trust. You are being trusted with more because you have learned how to carry less without complaint. Reward does not remove effort. It aligns effort with purpose. You will still grow. You will still adjust. You will still learn. But the striving that once drained you will be replaced with direction that steadies you. Be careful not to compare your reward to others. Comparison will distort appreciation. What fulfills you may not fulfill them. What aligns with your purpose may not align with theirs. Honor what is given to you. If you look closely, you will notice that reward has already begun in small ways. Increased clarity, stronger boundaries, deeper peace, renewed confidence. These are not preliminary gifts. They are part of the reward. Larger expressions will follow in their time. Remain grateful. Gratitude keeps your heart open. It prevents entitlement. It keeps you aware that what you have received is meaningful, not owed. If you feel a quiet sense of readiness rather than impatience, that is confirmation. If you feel peace rather than urgency, that is alignment. If you feel grounded rather than restless, that is preparation completed. Receive without rushing. Appreciate without comparing. Steward without fear. If this part resonates with you, and you sense fulfillment beginning to replace striving in your life, write, "I receive with gratitude" in the comments as a declaration that you are ready to accept what comes with humility and wisdom. Stay with this message until the end. Each part is guiding you toward a life that is not only successful, but deeply satisfying. Hold this truth close, my child. Reward is not about proving anything. It is about living in alignment with what you were prepared for. Stay with me. Do not let your attention loosen now. What I am speaking to you in this moment is about completion. Not the kind that rushes to the end, but the kind that finishes with clarity, peace, and strength intact. Many people start with passion. Fewer finish with wisdom. Finishing well is not about dramatic endings or sudden leaps. It is about faithful follow-through. It is about honoring the process all the way to the threshold, instead of abandoning it when familiarity sets in. You are closer now than you think. Completion does not mean perfection. It means wholeness. It means you arrive without fragments of regret pulling you backward. It means you step forward without dragging unresolved weight from the past. You have been learning how to finish things internally before they manifest externally. You finish cycles of self-doubt. You finish patterns of over-explaining. You finished carrying responsibility that was never yours. These internal completions matter. Apply this to your life now. Notice what no longer has emotional control over you. Notice what once triggered reaction but now meets calm. Notice what you have outgrown without resentment. That is evidence that you are finishing well. Completion requires presence, not pressure. There will be moments when impatience tries to hurry you across the line, when excitement tempts you to skip steps, when fatigue suggests cutting corners. Resist that urge. What you complete carelessly, you will revisit later. Honor the final steps. Finishing well also means releasing what no longer belongs in the next season. You cannot carry everything forward. Some lessons are complete. Some struggles are resolved. Some identities are outdated. Release them with gratitude, not bitterness. You are not erasing your past. You are integrating its wisdom. There is strength in acknowledging how far you have come, without exaggerating how much remains. You are not almost there because you are lacking. You are almost there because refinement is nearly complete. This is not the time to question your readiness. It is the time to trust the work that has already been done. Completion also brings clarity about responsibility. You are stepping into something that will require stewardship. Finishing well ensures you enter that responsibility grounded, not overwhelmed. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into order. Be mindful of your pace now. Let your actions match your clarity. Let your words match your values. Let your choices reflect who you have become. Do not rush what is meant to last. There may be emotions that surface as you approach completion. Nostalgia, uncertainty, even grief for what is ending. These emotions are natural. Endings always carry weight because they mark transition. Allow yourself to acknowledge them without letting them anchor you. Completion does not deny feeling. It honors it, then moves forward. You are not abandoning who you were. You are honoring that version by stepping into who you are now. There will be confirmations along the way, subtle affirmations that you are on course, moments of peace that arrive unexpectedly. These are not accidents. They are reassurance. Stay attentive to them. If you feel a quiet readiness rising within you, less anxiety, more steadiness, that is completion settling in. When fear loses its urgency and excitement loses its chaos, clarity has taken its place. That is where you stand now. If you're willing to finish this season with intention and step forward without rushing, type "I will finish well" in the comments as a declaration that you choose completeness over haste. Stay with this message until the end. Each part has been guiding you toward this moment, not to pressure you forward, but to prepare you to arrive whole. Stay with me. Do not dismiss this as something meant only for later. What I am speaking now is already unfolding through you, even if you have not named it yet. Legacy is often misunderstood. Many think it begins when life slows down or when achievements become visible. But legacy does not wait for permission. It is formed quietly through daily choices, through how you respond under pressure, through how you treat others when no one is watching. You are creating legacy now, not through titles or recognition, but through consistency, through integrity when compromise was easier, through patience when impatience would have been justified, through resilience when retreat seemed reasonable. These moments matter more than you know. You have lived through seasons that shaped you in ways comfort never could. What you endured taught you empathy. What you waited for taught you humility. What you overcame taught you wisdom. These qualities do not disappear when circumstances change. They remain within you and influence everything you touch. Apply this to your life now. Notice how people respond to your calm, how your steadiness affects tense environments, how your words carry weight not because they are loud, but because they are thoughtful. This is influence born from character. Legacy is not about being remembered by many. It is about being meaningful to those you encounter. It is about impact, not image. You may never see the full reach of what you model, but it is real. Someone learns patience by watching how you wait. Someone finds courage by observing how you stay steady. Someone chooses integrity because they saw you choose it without reward. This is how legacy grows. Quietly, consistently, authentically. You have also learned how to walk through difficulty without becoming bitter. That matters. Bitterness multiplies pain. Wisdom multiplies healing. By choosing growth instead of resentment, you change the trajectory not just of your life, but of what flows from it. Your legacy is not perfection. It is perseverance with clarity. There were moments you questioned whether your endurance mattered, whether anyone noticed the choices you made behind closed doors, whether staying faithful when unseen had purpose. It did. Legacy is often invisible while it is being formed. You are not called to impress future generations. You are called to equip them through example, through steadiness, through truth, lived quietly. The way you handle stress, resolve conflict, and maintain integrity becomes instruction without words. You are teaching, even when you are not speaking. There will be opportunities ahead where your experiences become guidance for others, not through preaching, but through understanding. You will recognize struggle in others because you lived through it. You will offer clarity because you once needed it yourself. This is why nothing was wasted. Your waiting was not delay. Your pain was not pointless. Your endurance was not unnoticed. It is all becoming wisdom that serves beyond you. Be careful not to minimize your journey. What you survived refined your perspective. What you learned will shape how you lead, love, and decide. Legacy grows from authenticity, not performance. Remain faithful to who you have become. You do not need to announce your story. Let it be seen through how you live. Let it be felt through how you treat others. Let it be known through consistency, not explanation. Legacy also requires humility. The goal is not to be elevated above others, but to walk in a way that elevates what matters. Truth, peace, wisdom, compassion. You are carrying these now. If this part helps you see your life through a broader lens and recognize that your journey is shaping more than just your future, type, "My life has purpose beyond me," in the comments as a declaration that you will live intentionally, aware of the impact you carry. Stay with this message until the end. One final part remains, and it will bring everything together. Not as an ending, but as a beginning. Live with clarity. Hold this close, my child. Legacy is not something you leave behind one day. It is something you live into every day, one faithful choice at a time. Stay with me. Do not rush past this moment. What I am speaking now is not an ending. It is a threshold. It is the moment where preparation meets movement, where understanding becomes action, and where peace replaces striving. You have walked through seasons that tested you deeply, seasons where answers were slow, clarity was partial, and strength had to be drawn from places you did not know existed. You wondered at times whether the effort was worth it, whether staying faithful made sense, whether waiting would ever turn to movement. Now hear this clearly: you are not stepping forward empty-handed. You are stepping forward with wisdom earned through endurance. You are stepping forward with clarity shaped by patience. You are stepping forward with peace that does not depend on circumstances. This is important. Do not confuse confidence with noise. True confidence is quiet. It does not rush to announce itself. It does not demand validation. It moves forward steadily, grounded in understanding rather than urgency. You are ready because you are no longer trying to prove anything. Apply this to your life now. Notice how your decisions feel different. You no longer feel the need to convince everyone. You no longer feel pressured to rush outcomes. You no longer feel anxious about being seen. These are signs that confidence has settled in. Confidence does not eliminate uncertainty. It teaches you how to move wisely within it. You will still encounter unknowns. You will still face moments where clarity unfolds gradually, but you will no longer be destabilized by that process. You have learned how to trust guidance one step at a time. Peace will be your anchor. Peace does not mean the absence of challenge. It means the absence of inner conflict. It allows you to act without panic, to wait without fear, and to adjust without losing direction. This is how you move forward now. Not driven by pressure, but guided by clarity. You are not required to have every detail resolved before you act. You are required to stay aligned with what you know. Direction will continue to reveal itself as you walk, not before. Trust the pace, trust the process, trust the growth that has already taken place. There will be moments ahead when you realize how much has changed. You will handle situations with calm that once overwhelmed you. You will respond with wisdom where you once reacted emotionally. You will recognize opportunities without chasing them. This is fruit, not accident. You are also stepping into a season where your presence will matter, not because of what you say, but because of who you are. Your steadiness will speak. Your integrity will speak. Your peace will speak. Do not underestimate that influence. Step forward without fear of the past repeating itself. You are not the same person who walked into those old seasons. You carry discernment now. You carry boundaries. You carry understanding. You are not starting over. You are continuing forward, prepared. As you move ahead, keep your focus simple. Stay grounded in what matters. Return often to clarity when noise increases. Choose wisdom when options multiply. Let peace guide your pace. And when doubts try to surface, remember this: you were not brought this far to stop at the threshold. You were prepared so you could step forward without losing yourself. If you are ready to move forward with confidence and peace, not rushing, not retreating, but walking steadily into what has been prepared, type "I step forward in peace" in the comments as a declaration that you are embracing this next season with clarity and trust. And before we close this series, if these words have truly helped you, if they brought clarity to your thoughts, strength to your waiting, and peace to your heart, support this channel by liking the video, subscribing, and joining the community so you continue receiving messages that guide and strengthen your life. And if you feel genuinely encouraged and grateful for these words and want to help others receive them as well, super thanks is a meaningful way to support and extend this work. Carry this with you now, my child. You are not stepping into the unknown alone. You are stepping into what has been carefully prepared, with wisdom ahead of you and peace within you. Go forward, remain grounded, and live what has been formed in you.